Hello there everybody, Sam's Trains here, welcome back to the railway and welcome back to the model railway news. I hope you're all doing okay, I hope you're all enjoying the lovely weather that we've been having recently, at least if you're in the UK. And at the same time, in the world of model railways, things have still been progressing at an amazing rate. So I'm coming at you with all of the latest updates from there. The first one comes from Accurascale, and I don't think you'll be surprised to learn that they've made yet another very major announcement. More specifically, it is a whole new range of Mark I suburban coaches, which were a staple of passenger transport from the 1950s, 60s and 70s. And obviously these will complement Accurascale's previously announced Class 31 locomotives absolutely perfectly. Now these new models are apparently based on prototypes from the North Norfolk Railway, where the Accurascale team were able to fully access both the interior and the exterior of the real thing for research. And the promised specs for these models definitely match up to Accurascale's usual high standards. Get a load of this. So the model is set to feature finely moulded bodies, separately fitted door handles, that's always a good sign, realistic underframe detail with full separately fitted parts. It's also going to have a die-cast metal chassis, and you can see a bit of that on one of their photos. Apparently the weight is going to be a minimum of 135 grams, and that is quite a lot more than many coaches that we see in this industry, so pretty heavy, you can definitely say that. Apparently they're also going to have brass bearings for their wheels, that is quality, wire handrails and tons of other detailing. Apparently these are also going to have quite astonishing interiors as well, including these etched metal luggage racks. That's a really nice touch, I love that. Obviously, knowing Accurascale, these are also going to have full interior lighting. And they also say that the interior of these coaches will be very easy to access thanks to the magnetic method of fitting the roof. So it sounds as though you can just pop the roofs off, and this means that you can fit passengers inside very, very easily. So it sounds like a really good design. As you can see, the first, they do note, hastily assembled samples are already on display, and the delivery is estimated to be Q3 of 2022, and given what they've shared so far, I think that seems quite optimistic, doesn't it? Unless the project is a lot further along than they're letting on. But anyway, they seem to think that it's going to be coming quite soon. All of this comes at quite a cost though, because the price to you guys, the customer, is going to be £64.95 each, which I guess is kind of to be expected given the high spec of these coaches. However, there is something that can take the edge off it, because they're giving you 10% off that price when you purchase 2 or more. And let's face it, most people are going to be buying more than one of these. So I think most people should be able to take advantage of this. And to be honest, given the features, I think it seems about right. So we can say with utter certainty that Accurascale are really good at the whole announcing fantastic models bit. I think now what we really need to see from Accurascale is a little bit more of the releasing amazing models bit. We've certainly seen a few items of rolling stock come through. I've not tried any of that personally, but I hear that it's pretty good. I think we really need to start seeing some locomotives. We need to start seeing some of this massive amount of stuff actually come through. And hopefully it will be at the same standard that all of the announcements have been. It sounds like I might be getting my wish quite soon though, because Accurascale's Deltics are apparently very soon to arrive. And to go along with these Deltics, Accurascale have announced another sort of sub-product. They've announced a new product called Accurafolk, and at the moment this comprises of a 3D scanned and 3D printed driver and second man for their locomotives, more specifically the Deltic at the moment, but apparently more are going to follow. They're 3D printed in colour, which sounds absolutely fascinating. I'm not really familiar with that technology, so that's something I'd like to learn more about. And you can see we've got a few images of these already. Now these packs, as I understand it, they contain just 2 figures, and they are £9.95 each. Now, I'm going to be honest, I'm not that impressed with these for a tenner. The 3D printed layer lines are quite clear to see on these figures, and the colours appear to be quite muted, probably as a result of this 3D printing process. I do think £9.95 seems a bit steep for a couple of chaps with their lower leg missing. can't help feeling that perhaps these could have just been included with the models, but still, it's quite interesting to see. Hopefully they will get better as time goes on. So I think I've said this before, but I am going to say it again this month. Dapol are absolutely on fire. Some manufacturers seem to do a lot more announcing than they do delivering, but Dapol seem to do quite a lot of both. For instance, they have an outstanding looking O-gauge 20-ton BR brake van now in stock with the retailers. A very decent price really of £71.40, and there are 7 different versions of this model currently available, including a BR grey, which looks very nice, bauxite, which is a classic, rail freight grey, and also a very fetching Civil Engineers Dutch grey and yellow livery. Would you like to see one of these reviewed? Comment down below and let me know if so. Next, through Dapol's Lionheart Trains brand, they've announced an O-gauge standard class 3MT tank engine. And this is a really major announcement, isn't it, for O-gauge? I do wonder why it's announced under Lionheart and not under Dapol. I wonder, do they consider Lionheart to be a more upmarket range than the Dapol range? I don't know, that's a bit of a strange one. But it does seem to be a little bit more expensive, that's for sure, than Dapol's usual stuff. So there's going to be 8 different versions of this model, starting at £488.75 each, and that is for the DCC ready version. So at the moment, given that it's Dapol, seems quite expensive. Now, experiment time. I'm going to read you some of its features, and then we'll see if it's changed your mind. Do you then think that this is a reasonable price? Here we go. So, it's going to have countless separately fitted detailed parts. It's going to have sprung buffers, a die-cast body, a die-cast chassis, apparently, die-cast wheels, a 5-pole motor, fully working Walschaerts valve gear, easy access to the cab interior, which also has lighting in the firebox, a firebox flicker, if you will. Now look at that price again. This is going to be a big thing. This is a standard class 3. Does seem to be good value, I have to say. Yet again, Dapol have knocked it out of the park, haven't they? They've also revealed samples for their absolutely amazing Great Western Top Light coaches. And these things looked amazing when they were just undecorated engineering samples. Just look at them now. They are still incomplete, they don't have all of the detail of course, but the quality of the decoration is already very, very clear to see. The lined crimson livery looks out of this world, doesn't it? Gorgeous, gorgeous livery. The chocolate and cream also looks incredible. I mean, it always does. It's a gorgeous livery, but I think it looks particularly good on these. And even the very simple, plain looking BR maroon looks very, very smart indeed. So great to see that these projects are actually progressing. Can't wait for the delivery on those coaches. I really don't know what livery I'm going to go for though, because they all look extremely good. The next update comes from Rapido Trains UK, and you'll be very pleased to hear that this time they're not just announcing tons of new products, they're actually sharing updates on previously announced products, and I think that's definitely something we need to see from Rapido. The first one is this photo of their 15XX pannier tank sample, as well as this very, very impressive video of it hauling a frankly astonishing number of coaches and wagons. Just look at it go, it keeps on going. So these locos are going to be insanely powerful by the looks of things. For a very small tank engine, this is very impressive. It just keeps on going and going. They've also shared another video, this time of the first of their Titfield Thunderbolt train packs. Now the video visually isn't that interesting, it's just these sort of samples sitting on the track. However, it is the sound that you really need to pay attention to. Take a listen to this.
Oh Sam, what a little beauty, you lucky devil. What an experience, what an experience. You've seen a fork in the museum, but to stand on her. I did once mount the North Star. You look, she's 222 with the double crank riding axle. But this, oh!
So I didn't realise this before, I guess this fact kind of passed me by, but the DCC sound versions of the Titfield packs actually feature quotes from the film, so absolutely brilliant. And they've also showed off a sample of the Laureate wagon, which I believe Dan's house will also sit onto. Separate details on this wagon are particularly noticeable, which is good to see. Same with the towed brake van, nice little sample photos of these. I think it is the separate handrails and the detailed veranda, which are particularly noticeable on this, so that looks fantastic. And then you've got this, a sample of the simpler 08A wagon on display. I say simpler as, at least by the looks of things, these models are going to take advantage of moulded detail rather than tons of separately fitted ones in order to produce that highly detailed effect. But they still look fine, as you can see from the photos, and the price is pretty much in line with that as well. Seems quite reasonable for Rapido, I guess, at £33.96 at the retailers. So lots going on with Rapido. Great to see that they're actually, developing these models rather than just announcing more and more. Really good to see. Can't wait to see some of this stuff released. The next update comes from Bachmann, and this is one that a lot of people asked me to cover. So this all happened on a Train World TV, or I think on Train World's Facebook as well, broadcast. Bachmann revealed the first look at their upcoming Thomas & Friends Ryan locomotive. And just looking at this sample, which is very basic and unfinished of course, but based on that alone, it does seem to be a massive step up from the previous Thomas & Friends models. It looks, I'm not sure if this is true, I mean this is just a sample, but based on this image alone, it looks like it's got a fair bit of die-cast on it. Dare we say that that's got a die-cast boiler? I don't know why they would do that on a Thomas toy, but I absolutely love it. That's fantastic. It looks like it's got an open cab as well. In fact, it definitely does. Tons of details, and the handrails, at least again, just from this little video, they appear to be separately fitted. Looks like quite a bit of pipework on them as well. So the Ryan model looks a lot more detailed than the previous members of the family. Whether that's the case when they are released, I have no idea, but as a sample, it looks amazing. Now, the guy from Bachmann on this live stream, he also said that it had been on the track, and apparently it runs very well. And the next sample will be a painted sample, so I guess that's the one that will reveal a little bit more. Very, very exciting. Can't wait to see this come through. Again, great to see that the Bachmann Thomas & Friends range continues to be developed. It's very good news. Finally then, there are some updates from Hornby, some of them very interesting and welcome, some of them slightly less so. Cue the eye rolling in just a second. But we'll start with the former of those two, because the Engine Shed blog revealed the first decorated samples of the new and upcoming 9F. And these photos actually reveal quite a lot about what the models are going to be like. First of all, this BR Black example reveals the quality of the finish. This one looks particularly good. You can see the boiler reflecting light in a very, very pleasing way, and the cab seems to be very impressive too, with plenty of detail inside there, noticeably much more than on the previous Hornby 9Fs, which is really good to see. They've also provided a very basic but nonetheless present shot of the BR Green Evening Star 9F as well, which also appears to have a very high quality finish. There's also been talk on a new kind of coupling that Hornby have been working on. It's intended to be more realistic and I guess less conspicuous than the traditional tension lock coupling, and it's using neodymium magnets in a sort of magnetic coupling system, still based on NEM pockets, so I guess you could use it with other brands as well. And these appear to use two magnets on each end rather than just one, which I assume allows you to couple different consists in either direction, which is really useful. Now, we've seen this sort of coupling before, of course, with the Hunt couplings, which I did a sort of mini review on with this channel. Wasn't too impressed with the Hunt couplings. They weren't that well made, to be honest. The ones I used just kind of broke when you pulled them out of the NEM couplings. So hopefully these will be a bit better developed. Hopefully these will be more refined. Whether or not they will take over and become the new norm for couplings, I don't know. There's a long way to go before every manufacturer agrees to switch to this sort of coupling, but it's quite interesting to see. I guess at the moment it's just going to be for this specific sort of train, but hopefully we'll see it come as an option for other bits of rolling stock and whatnot. Lastly then, from Hornby, as a final way to celebrate the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, they have announced an HST with a fictitious Platinum Jubilee livery. And frankly, it seems like a bit of a strange time to be announcing such a thing. They announced this on the 30th of May, which was the same week as the Jubilee, and apparently the models themselves are not due to arrive until the autumn of 2022, which of course is many months after the Platinum Jubilee. All seems a little bit last minute, doesn't it? But more than that, they've gone and announced a full range of coaches, all of them available individually, all of them quite expensive, as well as the separate power cars, which are also incredibly expensive. does seem like quite a strange approach for what is presumably just a celebratory novelty pack. Do people really want to buy an entire train of this stuff? I have absolutely no idea. What I can say though is that these did not receive a very warm welcome on social media. Many people didn't like the concept, many people didn't like the livery, but then some people did like it. Some people said, yeah, this looks pretty decent. So I honestly couldn't tell you how this is going to go down. I personally don't really like it. Like I said at the start, it just seems like another way of milking the Jubilee, and it's just too late really, isn't it? The Jubilee, everybody knew it was coming. You could have planned for it, Hornby, but you've missed it with both of your Jubilee locos. So, I don't know, comment down below, where do you stand on the new Jubilee HST Platinum style? I honestly couldn't tell you. Anyway, that is it for the model railway news here in June. I hope you enjoyed it. If there's anything I've missed that you think does deserve a mention, then absolutely comment down below and let me know. For now though, thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Alright, cheers folks, take care.